Part 23. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 221. Since it was Huahuanyan's birthday, Yingwan was still preparing a hearty lunch. In the morning, she asked the village chief to buy fish and send it to her, and also bought 2 chickens. One was stewed and the other was braised. The chickens at home were not fully grown yet, so it was impossible to cook with them. Xiaohe was very excited when he saw her cooking chicken. Yingwan usually cooked more for him to eat. He was visibly fatter every day by Yingwan's side. It was not long before the next filming started, and the program crew would return to the village soon. Yingwan thought that when Lin Mei came, she would have to go shopping again. She made a lot of pickled vegetables last time and almost sent them all. This time, she also had to make a lot of radishes, cowpeas and other miscellaneous things to soak. She got up early in the morning, made breakfast for herself and started to prepare to stew the chicken. It takes a long time to stew the chicken. She doesn't consider Huahuanyan's taste. Even if it's a birthday party for him, the taste must be based on her own preferences. She likes stewed chicken that is very tender and tender. It's not too old, but the wonderful taste of the skin and meat melting in the mouth. When she has time, she also braised chicken wings, chicken feet, and pig's trotters. They started to get busy early in the morning. Huahuanyan was naturally not so blind and came to help early in the morning. When he knocked on the door outside, Xiaohe suddenly barked at him and scared him. He saw the dog yesterday, but he didn't expect it to be so fierce. Xiaohe. A clear female voice called out in the room, and Xiaohe stopped calling after shaking his tail. Yingwan opened the fence door to let Huahuanyan in, and asked, "What are you doing here?" Huahuanyan smiled and said, "Teacher, I can't just do nothing, so I'm here to help you." "Teacher, is there anything missing? I can ask someone to buy it." "No, if you want help, wash the onions, ginger, and garlic. The dishes I cook require a lot of work, and washing such small things is the most tiring." "Okay." Huahuanyan was very well behaved. After he came in, he sat in the yard and started to help. The little black dog was circling around him, looking at him with a vigilant look from time to time. It didn't mean to bite him. Huahuanyan wanted to reach out and touch it, but it dodged him. After a while, Sci-Lu also came. It was Huahuanyan who opened the door this time. Sci-Lu saw Huahuanyan coming so early and sneered, "You are really active." Huahuanyan was beaten yesterday but he didn't learn his lesson. "That's right, after all, it's my birthday party, I must be more active." Sci-Lu glanced at him, and Xiaohe under the ground wagged his tail at Sci-Lu. After all, he came more frequently, and Xiaohe was familiar with him. Sci-Lu had a mysophobia and didn't intend to touch it, but it still wagged its tail and followed Sci-Lu, following him step by step, which successfully made Huahuanyan jealous. People look at faces, but does this dog look at faces? Of course dogs don't look at faces. Sci-Lu's tone was lighter, it just knows who is the master. Huahuanyan. Shame on you, say this again in front of the teacher. At this time, Yingwan also walked out of the bedroom. Seeing Sci-Lu also came, he didn't say anything and went into the kitchen again. Sci-Lu smiled and sat down to watch Huahuanyan wash things. Huahuanyan was the weaker force, so he didn't dare to let him move. He could only swallow his anger and wash his vegetables on the spot. Sci-Lu suddenly said, "I really should take a picture of you like this." Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 222. Huahuanyan immediately exploded, "Brother Lu, you can't do this. If someone saw him washing vegetables here, he would have lost his reputation." Sci-Lu just nodded his chin, "It's your honor to help the teacher, don't you feel honored?" Huahuanyan. "What kind of honor is it to wash vegetables?" Sci-Lu, you looked pretty shameless yesterday. Huahuanyan, brother Lu, you went too far, too much. Si compared to what you did, nothing I did was too much. Huahuanyan said with a tut, you must be jealous of me. Are you jealous of me, brother Lu? You will say me, why don't you dare to tell the professor openly that you like her? How do you know I didn't say it? Unfortunately, the woman refused mercilessly. Huahuanyan was shocked, and then he laughed, brother Lu, you have come to this day. As soon as he finished speaking, he was almost pressed into the ground by Si Lu. Huahuanyan quickly begged for mercy, wrong, brother Lu. Some people just don't learn from their mistakes. Si Lu sneered and let him go. Huahuanyan didn't dare to provoke him. He dared to be so arrogant after being rejected. He angrily recalled the tragic experience with Si Lu. At that time, they always hung out in the same circle. When they went out to play, no matter how beautiful the person was, they couldn't walk when they saw Si Lu. Especially in the environment abroad, Si Lu received countless invitations and phone numbers every day. There were even bold people who could climb up directly. Before they even got close to him, his eyes seemed to kick them out. When everyone went out to play together, Si Lu was always the most popular. Don't believe that foreign aesthetics are different. Many beautiful women gave Si Lu their numbers after seeing him, as if they didn't see these equally handsome boys. Even if there were people who were interested in them, they would be the second best after Si Lu ignored them. He had never liked anyone, and he didn't care about women. They even suspected that Si Lu had some bad intentions towards them. Later, considering the reality, no one dared to say this idea. It was not until someone asked boldly that Si Lu told others. His tone at that time was like this, I have someone I like. Let alone the shocking fact that he kept his virginity to the person he liked, but about who the person he liked was, whether it was a man or a woman, Si Lu didn't let out a single word. The imperial capital still didn't know where Si Lu's favorite person was, and even suspected that Si Lu deliberately said it, but in fact there was no whole person, just to cover up some of his unknown flaws. These were all private speculations, and he didn't dare to ask any of them in front of Si Lu. Afraid of not living through tomorrow. What are you doing? Hearing the sound, Yingwan came out and asked them. They were talking in a low voice, so they definitely couldn't say it loudly. Huahuanyan, brother Lu said. Si Lu covered Huahuanyan's mouth expressionlessly, forcing him to move. He said he would go back after lunch. Huahuanyan's eyes widened. I didn't, I won't go back until tomorrow. Yingwan paused, oh, okay, if you do it quickly, you can have dinner at 11 o'clock, you should go back early after you finish eating. Si Lu, well, I'll see him off. Huahuanyan. The internet is down today, you can't blame me. Why didn't I send out the last chapter? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 223. Whether Yingwan believed it or not, Si Lu believed it anyway. Huahuanyan watched Yingwan go in, and Si Lu let him go. Huahuanyan decided to fight for himself. I didn't say I was going back today. Si Lu, I said you were going back, and you were going back. I've already said it, if you can't do it, do you know what the consequences will be? Huahuanyan. You can be naughty, but you have to know your limits in front of Si Lu. They didn't want to see Si Lu get angry. He looked weird on the surface, but he was rarely really angry, but if he was angry. Tisk, no one wanted to see this happen. Huahuanyan could only wait bitterly until he finished his meal and went back. He thought that he was so domineering before he caught up with her, and he would be even more arrogant if he caught up with her in the future. Then he could only wish brother Lu a hard journey. Of course, he didn't dare to let Si Lu know about his complaints, and he continued to be busy honestly. People are not stupid. They can do basic processing of onions, ginger, and garlic. Yingwan said that it would be done quickly, and all the dishes were ready at about 11 o'clock. The old hen was stewed early in the morning. At this moment, the pot was opened, and the fresh and fragrant smell mixed with mushrooms drifted several meters away. Hua Huanyan, who was outside, kept drooling when he smelled it. In fact, when Yingwan started to cook other things, the air was already filled with endless fragrance. Hua Huanyan had never smelled such a fragrant smell in his life. Strange, when he traveled around the world, he had seen many famous chefs' skills, but he had never seen such a strong fragrance. It was still his favorite Chinese food. Until Si Lu went to help carry the dishes, Hua Huanyan ran very fast and followed to help. The old hen stewed soup, and there was also a braised, tender and crispy pig's trotter, plump and tender fish, and several layers of refreshing and delicious side dishes. Hua Huanyan's eyes were straight. Unexpectedly, Yingwan really made a hearty lunch. Although his birthday is usually a super luxurious banquet, he knew during the live broadcast that Yingwan didn't cook much, and she and Lin Mei couldn't eat much. Now that she could cook so much, it was already amazing. This was made by Professor Ying himself. Personally, if it were anyone else, would they have this honor? Hua Huanyan was so moved that tears were about to burst out. He quickly took 12 consecutive photos of the prepared food. He was still taking photos until Si Lu was about to eat. He immediately said impatiently, "Are you done?" Hua Huanyan then put away his phone embarrassedly. When Yingwan sat over, he said lightly, "It's not very sumptuous, just make do with it." How dare Hua Huanyan take advantage of him? He hurriedly said in panic, "It's already sumptuous enough. Teacher, you can do this for me. It's really an honor for the student. This is the most unforgettable birthday I have had in the past 20 years. Yingwan. Knowing that he was flattering her, she didn't bother to care. Si Lu snorted coldly beside him. Hua Huanyan couldn't help smelling the aroma, so he picked up the chopsticks and picked up a piece of braised chicken. The salty aroma of the sauce, just out of the pot, was a little hot, but even if it was burned, Hua Huanyan couldn't bear to spit out the chicken. His mind seemed to be bursting with the impact of the deliciousness, and he didn't know what adjective to use. There was only one simple and rough word. It's so damn delicious. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 224. Professor Ying is not lying to me. Just when he saw those food shots during the live broadcast, he thought how delicious they would be. When he ate them, he realized that Professor Ying was simply terrifying. There is no flaw, and he can do everything to the best. Let alone those young masters who have never touched the water, Professor Ying has a mastery of both academics and career, and now he can even cook so well. It really proved that saying. There is nothing in this world that Yingwan can't do, but human life is always limited, so she can only make choices and do what she is most interested in. If she is given an infinite life, she doesn't know how much to learn and study. It's terrible. Although Hua Huanyan was shocked in his heart, he still ate politely, but he was a little more eager than usual. Si Lu ate a few meals anyway, slowly and elegantly, and Hua Huanyan couldn't help but feel a little jealous. Why can't a dog get the moon first when it's close to the water? But there are some things that he dare not say in his life. As a person, you should be timid. It was supposed to be a good meal, but Si Lu's phone vibrated and he received a text message. On Yingwan's side, Suhan also called, "Miss Ying, Lin Jiangguo is here." Yingwan. To be honest, she was really impatient. Do the Lin family members not understand human language? She lowered her eyes and began to think about how to let the Lin family know the limits, but Si Lu suddenly stood up. You eat first, I'll go to deal with something. Yingwan immediately raised her eyes and glanced at him. He smiled at Yingwan faintly. You are not suitable for this. It's best not to see him. I'll do it. Yingwan. She knew what Si Lu meant. When she frowned slightly, Si Lu had already strode out. Seeing Si Lu go out directly, Hua Huanyan was a little curious. What is brother Lu going to do? He could put down his chopsticks and walk out directly in front of the delicious food. He was worse than an animal. Yingwan didn't say anything. After Lin Jiangguo knew Yingwan's identity yesterday, he immediately booked a flight to Guangdongqing without hesitation. He was too old to travel at night, so he booked a trip early in the morning. After the car ride, he arrived at Huayang village at noon. After knowing Yingwan's identity, he knew that this matter could not be delayed any longer. He had to find a way to get Yingwan back to the Lin family. Even if he had to sacrifice his old face and do something inappropriate, he would force Yingwan to return to the Lin family. Professor Hatton, no one knew what this meant better than him. Now that the Lin family was affected by this incident, the stock price plummeted, and even the shareholders were looking for trouble with him. He had to come up with a powerful measure to help the Lin family survive this crisis. Announcing Yingwan's return to the Lin family was the best measure. Yingwan's identity had to be made public. Professor Hatton, only 24 years old, was simply a living miracle, a super genius. Lin Jiangguo couldn't stop getting excited when he thought of this. He hadn't said it yet, but he had scolded Yu Wenzi, Lin Jiarui, and his wife when he went back last night. The three of them were all stupid. Even now, they were still targeting Lin Mei and Yingwan for their own little thoughts. Lin Jiangguo must not let this go wrong. However, when the car arrived in the village, it was stopped. In front of the car, a tall figure stood at the entrance of the village. He was out of tune with the old environment of the whole village. He was biting a cigarette and looked so cold that it made people tremble. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 225. When he saw Si Lu, Lin Jiangguo's heart trembled. He had to get out of the car. When he saw Si Lu, he said with a smile, "Young Master Si." He knew Si Lu's identity and how amazing his background was. He also understood that he actually knew Yingwan after yesterday. But since Yingwan could get to know the Si family, she could learn how amazing her connections were when she was a professor at Hatton. The man put down his cigarette and blew out a smoke ring to the side. The smile at the corner of his mouth looked a bit cold. What is Mr. Lin doing in this place where he is not on the stage? Lin Jiangguo's face froze. Si Lu was trying to stab him with words. After all, their family just didn't want Ying to come to the table at night, so they didn't come to pick her up. But after all, he had been through the storm for a long time, and he calmed down in an instant, and just smiled. "Young Master Si, you are overly worried about what you said. I never said that this place is not on the stage. As long as there are people, it is the same everywhere. Now my granddaughter is here, she has been living abroad for more than 20 years. As a grandfather, I should come to take her back in person, and I can't make her feel wronged. It's not like Si Lu has never seen thick-skinned people before, he just feels that the Lin family is even thicker-skinned than himself. Hey, you weren't active some time ago, why did you come to find someone all of a sudden?" He glanced at Lin Jiangguo up and down. "It seems that I know something." "Unfortunately, you came by chance, Yingwan is not here." When he said this, his face did not turn red, and his heart did not beat. It was impossible to tell that he was lying. There is only a hint of a smile that is not a smile, which makes people feel inside, and makes people dare not take even an inch. Not there. Lin Jiangguo was stunned when he heard this. He really didn't know whether Yingwan was here or not. Si Lu lazily said, So Mr. Lin, where did you come from? Go back there. Don't be too obsessed with some things. Your Lin family is not a treasure trove, and not everyone wants to rush back. You coming here is already too far away. If what I said is not clear enough. He raised his eyebrows, his eyes became sharper, and there was a frightening coldness in his eyes. Granddaughter or grandson, you have to choose one. Lin Jiangguo's face suddenly turned pale. Suhan and the others in the dark were watching the excitement and could hear clearly. Some special operations team members were not very understanding. Does this matter count as Silv's own decision? Miss Ying hasn't come to see her yet, why did he come forward? Suhan shook his head, you don't understand. Miss Ying is really not suitable to come forward in this matter. He thought for a moment and explained softly, Miss Ying's status is indeed noble. It is understandable that she does not want to have any contact with the Lin family. It's just that she is always a bloodline of the Lin family. If she steps forward to do some things, others will still do it. Opinion. Huaxia always puts filial piety first, and Miss Ying is not wronged. Others can only see that she is now successful and famous, and she has never suffered at all. Although the Lin family is shameless in doing things, it is her native family after all. Young and old leaders don't want to see such a scene. He stared at the brother. If nothing else, if Lin Jiangguo kneels down in front of Miss Ying, licks his old face and asks her to go back, how do you think Miss Ying will handle it? The Special Forces team member was stunned. After all, he is also the chairman of the Lin family. He can't do such a thing, right? Suhan, no, he was already prepared when he came. He knew very well that he could not force Miss Ying to go back in any way. He could only use moral kidnapping. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 226. Suhan looked at Si Lu, who was full of anger at the moment, and murmured, Si Lu is actually the most suitable, and he also took the blame for Miss Ying. His eyes were a little complicated, and then he smiled, he is really sincere to Miss Ying. Si Lu came out to force Lin Jiangguo like this, and others would only blame him. From a normal perspective, the Lin family can only be said to be whining now, and it can't cause any real harm to Yinghuan. If Yinghuan directly came out to force the Lin family to a dead end, it would indeed prevent the Lin family from disturbing her again, but what would others say when they saw it? Even if Yinghuan didn't care, some things were not that simple. Others would not understand what Yinghuan was thinking. They would only think that the past was over. Yinghuan was now successful and famous, and it seemed too ruthless to attack her original family. Some people stood on Yinghuan's side and some stood on the other side, and they would always say it in private. As long as you are in this complex society, you have to face some things. Si Lu's actions were different. He was a playboy, and others would only scold him for being inappropriate and not considering Yinghuan, just like last time. It was like taking the blame. Whether he felt good or not was another matter. At least he did not make it difficult for Yinghuan to do this matter, and Suhan had a better impression of him. In fact, everyone knew that if Si Lu did not like Yinghuan, he would not be here at all. It was just that Suhan always felt that Si Lu was not suitable for Yinghuan. Now think about it, whether it is suitable or not, it is not their turn to say. Some things are meant to change naturally. If Si Lu targeted them, it would be fine if Yinghuan did not help them. They did not owe each other anything. The Lin family offended Si Lu, what does it have to do with her? The special forces nodded and looked enlightened. I can't see that Si Lu is still responsible, it still doesn't change the fact that he has bad intentions towards Miss Ying. Lin Jiangguo didn't know why Si Lu would target their Lin family to this extent. He felt it was a bit unreasonable. After all, Yingwan is his own granddaughter. Even if he did it for Yingwan, they are Yingwan's original family. What if Yingwan gets angry with him in the future because of this? Master Si, are you going too far? Lin Jiangguo was upset, but couldn't help it. I'm so old, you want to threaten me like this? Threaten? Si Lu seemed to have heard something out of this world, so much so that even his tone was full of playfulness. Mr. Lin, do you think too highly of yourself? What is your Lin family that I can threaten? You. Lin Jiangguo has never been humiliated so much in his life, but what Si Lu said is also true. To the Si family, the Lin family is indeed not even a piece of garlic. His face flushed red, and Si Lu said casually, your grandson has just gone abroad, and I don't know if he is happy there. You don't take good care of him. What if he follows others and gets some bad habits, such as taking drugs, and you only have this one grandson, won't it be gone? Lin Jiangguo's face was pale, and his body was shaking. You. Seeing that he was about to die, Si Lu stepped back, raised his hand and raised his eyebrows. Mr. Lin, don't faint and say I did it, I don't accept fraud. You. Lin Jiangguo was trembling with anger, and couldn't speak. It seemed that he was going to faint because of anger. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 227. But he felt as if he had some semblance of sanity and was about to faint. The scene suddenly became a little awkward. He looked at Si Lu, his whole body was like shaking a sieve. Mr. Lin, don't be like this. People who don't know think I did something right. The man also laughed very wildly and viciously. You'd better invite me, right? He knew what Si Lu said was a lie. Yingwan must be here, but Yingwan doesn't see him, and now Si Lu is a clear threat. He asked Yingwan to return to the Lin family. Not to mention the chance of success, his grandson was still abroad. Although he found someone to protect him, it would be too easy for someone like Si Lu to touch Lin Baojun. The muscles on his cheeks were trembling constantly, so excited that people wondered if he was going to faint in the next second. However, he just glanced at Si Lu hatefully. I know it's too late to say anything now. No matter how good the Lin family is, they are completely incomparable to a behemoth like the Si family. He could only get back into the car unwillingly. As Chairman Lin, he felt tired for the first time. When Si Lu saw him leaving, he gave a friendly smile. Mr. Lin, walk slowly. Lin Jiangguo's body trembled, and he dared not speak out in anger, so he asked the driver to turn around and leave. Seeing Lin Jiangguo leave, Su Han and the others heaved a sigh of relief. After all, they were really afraid that Lin Jiangguo would do something shameless to threaten Miss Ying. When Si Lu saw Lin Jiangguo leaving, the sarcastic smile in his eyes did not change, and he turned around and headed back to Yingwan's house. When he arrived here and saw him coming back, Hua Huanyan was vaguely curious. Brother Lu, what did you do just now? He was almost done eating. Si Lu, nothing. He didn't plan to say anything when he came back. Yingwan had already received Su Han's message. Si Lu dealt with Lin Jiangguo. She was busy with her career and research, but she didn't know that Lin Jiangguo's affairs were in trouble. Even Bai Ya had said this in private, and now that Si Lu had stepped forward to take care of it for her, she didn't really take it seriously. She looked at Si Lu with calm eyes and said, "Thank you." Everyone helped, so Yingwan didn't say anything that he could solve the problem himself. Silv was superfluous. Si Lu just nodded and sat down without eating again. He just sneered. To this day, he still only has eyes for his grandson, that insignificant thing. He doesn't know who to place such an obvious bet on. In this life, that's all Lin has achieved. Yingwan said, even if the bet is right, it still depends on whether there is someone to accompany him in the gambling game. There has been no possibility of easing the relationship between her and the Lin family since the Lin family abandoned her. Hua Huanyan was confused. "Professor, Brother Lu, what are you talking about?" "Si Lu, eat your food and get out of here immediately." "Hua Huanyan, you bullied me in front of the professor." He was a little unconvinced and was still determined to eat more slowly. Si Lu stopped eating since he came back. Probably because he disliked Hua Huanyan. Seeing the increasing ferocity in Si Lu's eyes, Hua Huanyan finally put down the bowls and chopsticks sadly, and reluctantly said goodbye to Ying Wan. "Professor Ying, I have to leave. I celebrate my birthday today very happy." Ying said lightly and perfunctorily, "As long as you are happy." Hua Huanyan, it's all Brother Lu's fault. He still wants to develop a relationship with Professor Ying, the relationship between teacher and student. There are some unexpected things, this is more compensation. 8 updates during the day. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 228. It was impossible to cultivate feelings, after all, Si Lu didn't give him a chance. After dinner, Hua Huanyan left directly under Si Lu's coercion. After all, he didn't have any purpose to come here, just for Ying Wan, and it was a bit unrealistic to stay. He had only stayed for a short night, and his hedonistic nature couldn't stand the dullness of rural life. Although there are internet cables, water and electricity here, there is basically no entertainment life. There is no takeout yet. Can Hua Huanyan tolerate this? Of course not, so Hua Huanyan left quite straightforwardly. Professor Ying is here, and he are not in the same world line, so there is no way to communicate happily. This also indirectly proves how terrible Si Lu is. He doesn't care about these, and can completely endure the boring life in the countryside and stay here. It's so scary. Hua Huanyan was sent to the airport by Si Lu. On the way, he took a photo of himself eating at Professor Ying's house. He first combined the photos of Professor Ying's house and posted several moments. Of course, the meal pictures were posted on Weibo. Hua Huanyan v. the happiest meal ever. Pictures, 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 pictures. His fans have seen him show off his wealth in various ways, but they have never seen him post a meal picture, and it is such a simple way. They were immediately a little surprised. "I didn't expect that I could get the same one as the young master, chicken stewed with mushrooms, I have it at home too. Braised chicken feet, so down to earth, Hua Xiao. Where is this? It doesn't look like a high-end restaurant. It looks good, where did Hua Xiao eat?" Those who shouldn't appear in the photo didn't appear, but some people with amazing observation skills felt that the place where Hua Huanyan ate looked familiar. The food was placed on the stone table. Why did the stone table look familiar? Because of Hua Huanyan's influence, this Weibo post became a hot search, not too explosive, but influential. Many fans seem to have discovered a blind spot. What's going on? The stone table where Hua Huanyan ate looks so much like the table where Ying Wan had dinner. Damn, compared the texture, the photo is not photoshopped, and it is exactly the same as in the video. There are 3 scratches on the stone table, the same as the stone table in the live video. Hua Huanyan had dinner with Ying Wan. Ying Wan actually knows Hua Huanyan. It doesn't seem very strange. Didn't Hua Huanyan curse Ying Wan directly when the rumor about Ying Wan came out not long ago? Then the question is, how can Hua Huanyan know Ying Wan? Who is Ying Wan? It's said that rural girls won't come to the stage. Why is there always such a weird taste in the news about Ying Wan now? Last time, the Ji family directly stood up and said that Ying Wan was wearing Jewel's exclusive design. They still haven't figured out where Ying Wan got her ability. Since it has been clarified that Ying Wan is not supported by a sponsor, then the question is, Ying Wan didn't live in the countryside since she was a child, how can she have such a great ability? The melon-eating crowd is a little confused, but they always feel that some information is surfacing, and one day they will be directly bombed. Hua Huanyan posted the photo here. He didn't care when he saw someone dug out that he had dinner at Yingwan's house. He was even more eager for it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 229. Yingwan continued to work on her own affairs. The live broadcast next month was about to start, and Lawson's academic seminar would start the next week after the live broadcast. She could go directly to the academic seminar after the live broadcast. This was something she had agreed to long ago. That afternoon, Lin Mei called and asked, "They said Hua Huanyan came to have dinner with you." Of course, the rumors in the circle were not the same. Lin Mei now knew that Hua Huanyan might be Yingwan's student, and Hua Huanyan was seen to be very respectful to Yingwan. This news was spread by a female star named Shang Li. She saw it with her own eyes. Yingwan's identity was too outrageous for them to guess. Now they could only know that Yingwan did know Hua Huanyan. Some people in the circle already thought that Yingwan was a big shot, but they couldn't imagine how big his background was. After all, they had never heard any rumors beforehand. But Lin Mei knew that the sister's background was so big that if it was announced, there would be a bloody storm on Weibo. Yes. Yingwan did not deny, "You got the news quickly enough." Lin Mei was a little embarrassed. "That's not the case. It's just that you seemed to be seen by a celebrity when you got on the plane, and the news came out that Hua Huanyan and you have a good relationship. They are guessing now." Although it was clarified last time that it was a rumor, things in the circle are much more complicated. Many celebrities guessed more complicatedly. Lin Mei knew that it was not the case, and she didn't know how to explain for Yingwan. Oh. No wonder. Yingwan didn't care. He said it was his birthday, so I cooked a meal for him as a celebration. The live broadcast next month is about to start. When are you going to come? Lin Mei's attention was diverted when this matter was mentioned. She said, "I'm afraid it will be the day before the broadcast. I can't leave the crew. Now the crew of the world has officially started filming. The intensity and difficulty of this crew are not comparable to other crews. All the actors who acted with Lin Mei were big names, even international superstars. As the heroine, she was the smallest in status. The director can still keep a head above these stars. Now, as the most miserable role, Lin Mei must memorize the lines and study the script carefully, and dare not show any temper. Even if there is no part for her, she will stay to watch other big names perform and act. If a detail is wrong, the director may even announce to reshoot more than 10 or 20 times. It is indeed invested by Wanteng, so they have money to do whatever they want, and they don't care about the loss of time and money. As long as you arrive at the crew during the day, you can't leave until the evening." She greeted the director in advance, and she can only leave the day before the live broadcast starts. The world will not be released until next summer, and if there is enough time, it will be arranged by the director. Well. Yingwan knew that she was filming now, and only said, "Film well." Yingwan also heard Bai Ya mention the script of the world, which should be the first step for Wanteng Pictures to impact the entertainment industry, which is more important. It doesn't matter if it doesn't explode, so Bai Ya didn't have any pressure when Sai Lin Mei entered. It is an industry that blooms extra. But if Lin Mei performs well, it will be a pleasant surprise. Lin Mei's scalp tingled when she heard Yingwan's words, "Shoot well." Okay, I know. If she didn't shoot well, she would have hanged herself first. Becoming the Richest by Farming. Author, Gu Mushuang. Chapter 230. The next day, the staff who followed Yingwan returned. The live broadcast at the beginning of the month is about to start, so of course they have to come back to prepare in advance. After the last episode was broadcast, there was a great response on the internet. After all, it was a pioneering live broadcast program. Now this variety show is the most discussed on the internet. In addition, Yingwan has been on the hot search several times. In the middle of the show, Zhang Shun and other national fresh meats were also on the hot search, but they had little to do with Yingwan, so she certainly would not pay attention to these people. When she came this time, the female director found Yingwan and told her something. Our program team has an additional interview team and wants to interview you, but it is not mandatory. You can consider it. Yingwan looked at the serious face of the female director and said lightly, "Is there any need for the interview?" "No need, but the audience can get to know you more deeply." Yingwan refused very simply, "Then there is no need." She doesn't need the audience to know her very well. As long as it is not in the contract, Yingwan is not interested. Seeing Yingwan's straightforward refusal, the female director thought of the recent ups and downs about Yingwan on the internet, and thought of the Lin family's affairs. At first, she just thought that this girl was quite cold, but now that she knew about her and the Lin family, she couldn't help but feel a little more sympathy. But this sympathy now seems unnecessary. After all, didn't it recently say that she and Hua Huanyan knew each other? This also makes people more curious. Now the filming has not started, the female director is not afraid of being heard by others, and can't help asking Yingwan, "There are a lot of news about you on the internet recently. I want to know if you have nothing to say about the Lin family. The Lin family does things not very authentic. If you express something on the show and put pressure on them, the Lin family will not take you back." Yingwan laughed a little. "Why is this necessary?" The female director said, "If you grew up in the Lin family, you can have the opportunity to enjoy better resources like your sister. Have you never resented them in your heart?" "No." Yingwan answered straightforwardly, "These are all private matters and have nothing to do with others." She didn't know anything at all, so the female director felt that Yingwan was really difficult to deal with. It can also be seen that she really has no interest in the entertainment industry. Many people on the internet speculated that she and her sister participated in the program just to prepare for entering the entertainment industry, but if she really wanted to enter, she would not refuse the various interviews and various publicity points proposed by the program team. Thinking of this, she almost understood what Yingwan meant, and only sighed, "After the program, if you don't like the publicity, we won't force you to participate. In any case, thank you for participating in this program with your sister." Yingwan nodded, and at this moment, there was a little commotion outside. Many staff members were a little surprised, and saw a low-key business car drove in directly. Opening the door, an elegant middle-aged man wearing a casual plaid shirt and glasses walked down. He should be in his 50s. After all, his hairstyle is meticulously groomed, and it can't hide the white hair mixed in the black hair. It's just that there is always a scholarly atmosphere on him, and he looks a little old-fashioned. When others saw him, they didn't recognize him for a while, but Yingwan had already recognized him. She blinked. "Professor G." "Female director?"